الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق ونودوا أن تلكم الجنة ورثتموها بما كنتم تعملون والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا وحبيب قلوبنا السراج المنير المصطفى الأمجد أبا القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وعلى أصحابه الميامين. السلام عليكم. Dear brothers and sisters, يقول الله في محكم التنزيل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون ما يأتيهم من ذكر من ربهم محدث إلا استمعوه وهم يلعبون لاهية قلوبهم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. These first three ayahs occur in Surah Al-Anbiya, and they're very important ayahs because they reveal two important things. On one level, they reveal a general condition of mankind. On a second level, they're a warning for mankind to be aware of some of the dangers that prevent mankind from connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's review them in detail. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. So the death or the day of judgment is rapidly approaching to mankind. اقترب, each second that we're counting away, you're this much closer to the end of your life. You're that much closer to Yawm al-Hisab. اقترب للناس حسابهم. But what's the condition of mankind in this kind of a situation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to convey urgency. اقترب للناس حسابهم. But what is the condition of mankind? وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةً مُعْرِضُونَ. So even though it's a very urgent matter, you know you're going to die, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a few minutes, maybe tonight after the program, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years, whatever it is, relatively speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a very rapidly approaching time. But rather than preparing for this upcoming landmark, mankind is in a state of ghafla. وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةً مُعْرِضُونَ. They're in a state of heedlessness. They're in a state where they're ignoring the directives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But more than that, مُعْرِضُونَ. They refuse to listen. So whenever something is revealed to them, they don't even want to listen. So they're both in a state of ignorance and they're in a state of refusal. They don't want to listen to any kind of reminder or any kind of remembrance of their upcoming approach towards death. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes even a step further. He says, مَا يَأْتِيهُم مِّن ذِكْرٍ مِّن رَبِّهِم مُحْدَثٍ إِلَّا اسْتَمَعُوهُ وَهُمْ يَلْعَبُونَ. Whatever is revealed to them or whatever comes to them in the form of a remembrance, dhikr, they don't listen to it. Why is that? لَا اسْتَمَعُوهُ وَهُمْ يَلْعَبُونَ. Because they're in a state of play. They're preoccupied with trivial matters. Whenever someone is reminding them of their upcoming death, they're in a state of play. They're just simply ignoring it. And by the way, dhikr here is not simply, listening to a speaker talk to you about death, but we see signs of dhikr or signs of the approaching death in everyday life. But oftentimes we ignore these signs. For example, the other day I was coming here to the masjid and I saw a dead deer in the side of the road. A dead deer on the side of the road. Now some people may say this is roadkill, who cares? But in reality, this dead deer was a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reminding me of my own impending death. And we see this type of sign every day. We see a dead squirrel in the middle of the street. But how many of us choose to reflect on this dead animal? Rather, many of us, we simply choose to drive around it, and we don't even think twice about it. So dhikr is not just simply reading the Quran, but rather dhikr is all around us. We're dying on a daily basis. On a daily basis, your skin cells are dying, so that you're basically renewing your entire body, they say, every 3 years. You have a new body every 3 years because the skin cells, they're sloughing off of your body and you're generating new skin cells. So in a sense, each of us is dying and each of us is reawakening on a daily basis. But few of us are reflecting. Most of us are in a state of play. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here's the kicker. He says, ذَاهِيَةً قُلُوبُهُم. Their hearts are preoccupied. Their hearts are preoccupied with trivialities. Lahu. Their hearts are preoccupied with silly and trivial matters. So this is an important ayah because, as I said, the first general principle that it reveals is that mankind throughout history, be it during the time of Pharaoh, be it during the time of the Sumerians, be it during the time of the Babylonians, be it during the time of World War I or World War II, mankind is always faced with this major problem, that their hisab is coming, but they're always in a state of preoccupation. But then the second reason that these three ayahs are important is because, in a sense, they're challenging mankind to identify the sources of lahu during their own time. For in reality, the source of lahu, or the source of trivial preoccupation, is different between generation and generation. So during the time of Pharaoh, they were preoccupied with building huge pyramids, and they were preoccupied with mummifying themselves, and they were preoccupied with other things, which if I was to ask how many of you are preoccupied with, your caste, or how many of you are preoccupied with, what type of mummy you'll become, no one would raise their hand. And also, during different generations, there are different types of preoccupation. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing here is reminding us on a general level of the state of mankind, but on a more specific and applicable level, on a more practical level to ourselves, challenging mankind to identify the source of lahu in their daily life. And so that is the impetus, or that's the inspiration for tonight's discussion, to identify the major source of lahu, the major source of trivial preoccupation in our own time. For in reality, our trivial occupations, they're not the same as during the time of Quraysh, they're not the same as during the time of Fir'aun. And so what is the major source of preoccupation that is preoccupying mankind from remembering Allah? Well, in my opinion, the major source of trivial preoccupation, or the major source of lahu during our time, is communication technology. Communication technology in the form of smartphones, in the form of iPhones, communication technology in the form of the internet, communication technology in the form of different medias. So tonight's discussion will fall into three parts. The first part will try to answer a very basic question. What is technology? What is technology according to the Quran? And what is the how is technology defined according to the example of the prophets and the example of the Ahlul Bayt? The second question that I wanted to ask is, how does technology affect us on a daily basis? Specifically, with a specific focus on communication technology, like the internet, like cell phones, and these other tools. Thirdly, how can we use technology to get closer to Allah? So rather than having it be a roadblock, rather than having it be like a barrier towards understanding Allah, enabling us to become closer to Allah rather than taking us away from Allah. So that is tonight's discussion. Please give me a loud salawat. So the word technology in the English language comes from the Greek word tekna, which means to make. It's also related to the Arabic word sin'a, or the Persian word san'at, which all relate to making. In the ancient Greek and in the ancient Persian and the ancient Arab world, the word sin'a is related to the art of making something new out of some raw material. So for example, we would say that someone sana'a, for example, a pot, or an oven, or something, some sort of a tool. In the ancient world, technology was interrelated with art. So whenever someone created something, they were considered to be an artisan. That's where you get the word artisan from. So you have people in ancient times who made copper pots, or people who in ancient times made carpets or rugs. You see these people still today. If you go to Isfahan, if you go to Suq al-Hamidiyya in Syria, if you go to these ancient markets, you'll see these so-called artisans who use raw material to make new objects. They make things like clay pots, they make things like brass pots, they make things like cooking utensils, they make things like rugs and carpets. That is the original form of the word technology. It means to make. And in traditional nomenclature, the art of making was related to art itself. But over time, what happened is that technology has evolved into this sort of piecemeal process, so that today, no one really makes anything, but they make part of something. So for example, this carpet that we see in front of us, it wasn't made in its totality by someone, but rather someone made the cloth, or someone made the cotton that was used to make the carpet, and then that cotton was taken to the factory, and then someone in that factory put in the cotton into the machine, and then it went through this assembly process. But according to the Quran, technology is something, it's a gift of mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as is said in the Quran, خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you and everything that you create. And then also in traditional Arabic phraseology, they say, خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَصْنَعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you and everything that you create. The ability to create is a divine gift. And it's a divine gift that has been given to all of creation. Mankind, by creating or by making something new, is really participating in a divine process, which is unique to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unique in that He can create something out of nothing. Mankind can create something out of something. It's similar, it's parallel, but it's also not the same. In that, in the final formulation, whatever we make is really dependent on the initial creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we make the carpet, we're dependent on the cotton, we're dependent on the wool that was originally made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And technology is really a test for mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a very beautiful ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Hadid, ayah number 27, ayah number 25, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلُنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمْ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانِ. So we have sent our messengers with our book, kitab, and mizan, and with the ability to treat justly, with the code for equal and just interactions between people. لِيَقُومُ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. So that mankind may treat each other with justice, so that mankind may stand up for justice. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is saying that the Quran and the system of Islam has been revealed to mankind. And then the second part, it was revealed for the sake of mankind being able to uphold justice. This is where the ayah gets interesting. وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ فِيهِ بَأْسٌ شَدِيدٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ وَلَيَعْلَمُ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرَهُ وَرَسُولُهُ بِالْغَيْبِ. So we've also revealed to you, in addition to the Quran, and in addition to the just system of Islam, we've also revealed to you, given mankind, the hadid, the iron. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فِيهِ بَأْسٌ شَدِيدٌ. It has strong, overwhelming power, ba's shadid, meaning that it can be used in negative applications, this hadid. It can be used to generate and to make war equipment. It can be used to make swords, and it can be used to make bullets. But at the same time, وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ. At the same time, it also has benefits for mankind. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed the just system and the Quran, but at the same time, He's given us the tools, the raw tools to use the benefits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have the choice. We can either use the raw iron for the sake of destroying the environment and for the sake of destroying each other, or we can use it for the sake of benefiting mankind. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَيَعْلَمُ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرَهُ وَرُسُلُهُ بِالْغَيْبِ. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who works with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who works against His prophets. إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most powerful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here in this ayah is very clearly telling us that in addition to the revelation, Allah has given mankind the raw material to create things. The raw material in this case being iron. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the creation of the iron and the utilization of iron in a positive manner. He gives us the example of Prophet Dawood alayhi salam. In surah number 34, ayah number 10, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ مِنَّا فَضْلًا. And we've given to Prophet Dawood from us a benefit, a tremendous grace, a tremendous tool from us. يَا جِبَالَ أُوبِي مَعَهُ وَالْطَيْرِ. O mountains and birds, pray and sing with Prophet Dawood. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَلْنَا لَهُ الْحَدِيدِ. And we made the iron soft for Prophet Dawood. The raw iron, which is very strong, we made it soft for Prophet Dawood. This is a very important ayah, because according to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Dawood was a king. Prophet Dawood had the entire kingdom of mankind in front of him. But one day, one of Prophet Dawood's servants, He told Prophet Dawood, he said, look at you, you're just a king. You're sitting in your palace all day, and you're depending on the benefits that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. You don't even work for a living. Prophet Dawood became very sad by what this man was saying, because he felt ashamed. He felt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him all these gifts, but he's not really dependent on his hands for his rizq. He's depending on the benefits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we gave Prophet Dawood the gift. What is that gift? وَأَلْنَا لَهُ الْحَدِيدِ. We made the iron soft for him. Why did Allah make the iron soft for him? أَنِعْمَ السَّابِغَاتِ وَقَدَرْ فِي السَّرَدِ. So that he may make the chain armor. وَأَعْمَلُوا صَالِحًا إِنِّي بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. And do the good deeds, because I am very aware of what you're doing. So Prophet Dawood at the time, he was dependent on his kingdom for his rizq, for his lifetime. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Dawood the ability to make something out of iron. And that something is the chain armor. What is chain armor? This is what chain armor looks like. It's something that the ancient people used to use in battle. So you know, when they're fighting with each other, swords and things of that nature, to prevent significant injuries, they used to wear this armor around their chest. So it's kind of like a bulletproof chest of the medieval ages. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Prophet Dawood the ability to make chain armor. Notice this gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Dawood. Iron has either ba's shadid, overwhelming power to destroy, or at the same time manatha, has benefits. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Dawood the ability to create something which is beneficial for mankind, which in this case is this protective armor to prevent mankind from getting injured. And that's the example that we see with all of the prophets. Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, for example, even though he was the king of the ins and the jinn, and he used to have the entire animal kingdom in front of him, he used to make baskets, and he used to sell those baskets in the market. And that's what he used to depend on for his living. Prophet Sulaiman didn't live off of welfare, or he didn't live off the benefits that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to him, but rather he lived off of the material handiwork of his own hands. Prophet Musa alayhi salam was an ironsmith in addition to being a shepherd. Prophet Isa alayhi salam was a carpenter. In all of these examples, we see examples of prophets utilizing the gift to create, utilizing technology for the sake of their rizq, for the sake of their benefit, and also for the sake of the benefit of mankind. So this is the traditional definition of technology. It's the ability of mankind to make something new out of something which was provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Notice it's a very spiritual enterprise. When you make something, you're participating in the divine process of creation here on earth. So it's a very spiritual thing. And that's the thing that many of the ancients used to participate in. But of course, technology over time has changed. So that now technology is atomized, as I said. No one makes chain armor. No one makes, for example, baskets by themselves. But it's all a factory process. So the art of creation has become an atomized process. No one is really doing the entire process on their own, but rather they're participating in an overall assembly. So according to Islam, the art of technology, or the art of creating, is something which is good if it is used for the benefit of mankind. And it is also something bad if it is used against mankind. And by the way, the ability to create something new in the sense of making new technology is not just limited to humans. Animals and insects also have the ability to create. We have many examples in the natural world of ants, for example, building huge mushroom farms that are much bigger than this masjid. They found underground mushroom farms by ants that are bigger than this masjid that we're living in, completely underground. These are ants, the leafcutter ants, that take leaves from different trees and they take them underground and they build these huge technologically advanced farming systems underground. And we have many other insects that participate in this creative process as well, like the termites, like the honeybees, like the beavers when they build the dams. So the ability to create is not just something that's limited to mankind, but it's a gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given all of creation. But the difference of mankind is that when ants create, they create something which is beneficial to themselves and beneficial to the environment. when mankind creates, they can either create something which is beneficial, like in the sense of, let's say, water dams or plumbing systems or hospitals or universities, or they can create something which is destructive, like atom bombs, destroy entire civilizations. So the difference in the creation of mankind versus the creation of all other organisms is when mankind creates, mankind is given the free will to choose between either creating something beneficial, manafi', fihi manafi', or something which is filled with ba's shadid, something which is filled with overwhelming power. Now, the second part of tonight's discussion, we'll continue with that after a loud salawat. So the question becomes, well, you know, this is the definition of technology according to the Quran and according to the example of the prophets. But you know, this is all fine and well, but I mean, none of us have worn chain armor as it's mentioned in the Quran, and none of us have, you know, made any of these other things. So the relevant technology for discussion today, and the thing which is bound to take us either away from Allah or closer to Allah in our modern context, is communication technology. And so the question becomes, how does technology affect us on a daily level? Specifically communication technology. Well, we can talk about technology on a grander scale. Technology, of course, any new invention will affect our relation with the environment and will affect our relation with each other. I'll give you a very simple example. During the time of the Prophet, people, when they went from point A to point B, they used to use animals like horses and donkeys. And that mode of transportation enabled them to become very close to the animals and to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That mode of transportation enabled mankind to develop a relationship with animals and to develop a relationship with creation. But with the invention of the car, mankind has sort of isolated themselves from their environmental surroundings. So now the closest that any of us come to an animal is when we're at the zoo, or maybe we see a dead animal at the supermarket. We've completely been cut off from our natural relationship. But the benefits of the car are tremendous, right? The benefits of the car include that we can go long distances in a short period of time. So before a journey from, like, let's say Ann Arbor to Detroit would take maybe a week on donkey, right? I guess, I don't know. But today, it takes maybe like 40 minutes or an hour at most. Before, it would take maybe about 2 weeks from Mecca to Medina, and people would die along the way. Today, Mecca to Medina, you can do it in about 3 hours if you're driving at the speed limit. So technology, on the one hand, it's altered our relationship or our perspective of time. Because now, time has become something which is approaching at a more fast rate. So before, when we planned for a trip, we would plan for a trip for 2-3 weeks and we would have everything in order. Now a trip can take place instantaneously. I can go around the world in 24 hours, but at the same time, this speed has come at the expense of my interaction with the environment. So I go around in the plane, but at the same time, I'm isolated from my surroundings so that I feel stronger than I am. So that's why throughout history, we notice that many of the leading thinkers have often tried to answer, you know, how does this technology affect us? I'll give you one example. There's a French philosopher named Jacques Ellul who has the book called The Technology Society. And he says before society uses any new technology, they should answer 76 questions about that new technology. So they should take this technology and ask 76 questions about this technology, and then depending on the answers, they'll decide on whether to use this technology or not use this technology. So some of the questions he says we should ask are, what values does this technology teach us? What is lost by using it? What are the effects on relationships between people and between environment and society? Today, most of us, the only question that we ask is, what does it do and how much does it cost? Without really asking about the longer term impacts. And of course, we also have the Amish. You know, many people think that the Amish are against technology, but that's not true. The Amish, they use technology. But before they use a new technology, they also ask themselves, the community comes together, and they ask themselves, is this technology beneficial to us on an individual level? And is this technology beneficial to us on a social and on a family level? So for example, the Amish, they don't believe in cell phones, right? They don't use cell phones. And the reason for them not using cell phones is because they say it'll make interactions extremely impersonal between people. So, you know, before, if I had a question for my neighbor, I would go knock on their door and I would ask them a question. Today, if I have a question for my neighbor, I just text my neighbor in very short, brief phrases, and then maybe my neighbor will answer me, or maybe my neighbor won't answer me. But that relationship between the neighbor becomes completely altered by the use of cell phones. So that's why the Amish, they don't use cell phones. But they do use normal telephones, so they have like phone booths in their farms, but they only use them for emergency situations. Now the Amish and Jacques Ellul, they present an extreme example of thinking about technology more than it's warranted. But on the other hand, we as Muslims oftentimes, we adopt new technologies without necessarily thinking of the benefits and of the risks of these new technologies, of the advantages and the disadvantages of these new technologies. And it is because of this that oftentimes we become deluded and we become deceived by the new technologies. So that in a sense, technology or technologism becomes our new religion. We're more interested in how many gigabytes or how many megabytes the newest phone has, rather than in asking, how does this new phone affect my relationship with my mother? Or how does this new phone affect or impact on my relationship with my brothers or my sisters? So the question, how does technology affect us? I'm going to specifically focus on communication technology in the form of the internet and in the form of smartphones and in the form of text messaging. Because in reality, these technologies are affecting us and impacting us greatly, both on the family level, both on the societal level, and most importantly, on a religious level. But oftentimes, many of us, we overlook them because we're in a state of ghafla, we're in a state of heedlessness. So please give me a loud salawat. So what are the benefits of communication technologies like the internet and the text phones, and the text messages and the smartphones? Well, you know, based on studies, and I'm not going to give you any statistics, but I'll just give you the general overall findings. The internet has enabled us to become more efficient at finding information. That's one tremendous advantage, one tremendous benefit. So the internet enables us to, in a short period of time, find multiple sources of information while we're sitting at home. Before, in ancient days, which is like 10 years ago, if you wanted many sources of information, you actually had to go to the library and you had to make photocopies. And sometimes they didn't have a copy of the book that you were interested in, or sometimes they didn't have a copy of the journal article that you were interested in, or the newspaper article that you were interested in. So then they would have to send away, you know, to someone in like another state, and then they would fax you a copy of that article. Whereas today, in a matter of minutes, I can find the source of a particular ayah, I can find the source of a particular hadith, all from the luxury of my own home, while I'm wearing my jalabiyah or while I'm wearing my pajamas. I don't even have to take a shower to find information, right? I can stay at home, wake up from bed, you know, find all the information that I need. So in one sense, the internet has made us more efficient at finding information. And in another sense, they say that the internet and computer programs have enabled us to develop better visual acuity, meaning we can process visual signals more efficiently than before. So before, people would have to focus on an object. But today, because we're so overstimulated, we can better process visual signals that are entering into our eyes. So those are the two major benefits of communication technology, such as the internet and such as the cell phone. But what are the major disadvantages? Well, one of the tremendous major disadvantages is that the internet and text phones and text messages and cell phones have completely rewired our brain. What do I mean? A lot of times when we surf the internet, we're really looking at more than one page, right? So we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. They say that during an average internet surf session, the average person during 1 hour will look at 47 different websites. 47 different websites in 1 hour. Whereas before, it would take you maybe 3 weeks just to find 47 different sources from the library, or 47 different sources from the bookstore or what have you. 47 different sources. The average person today, the average young person today, spends between 11 to 18 hours a day using communication technology such as the internet, such as communication media like text messages and televisions. So the way they calculate this is, for example, when you're surfing, oftentimes when people are using the internet, they're also looking at the TV and they're also text messaging. So when you're using 3 types of technologies at the same time, they count that as 3 hours being used, right? So if you're only using the internet, that's 1 hour of usage. But if you're using more than one technology at any given moment, they count that as 3 different technologies during the 1 hour span. So for example, if you're using if you're text messaging your friend, and if you're looking at the internet, and you have the TV turned on, and you have your iPod phones in your ears, then that's 4 different technologies. In 1 hour, you would be using 4 hours. Now your brain has very limited capacity to actually process information. They say that for every 15 million signals that go into your brain is only able to process 10 signals. 10 out of 15 million signals able to consciously process, meaning able to consciously think about. Think about that. So that's during a 1 hour period. But you're bombarding your brain with 4 different technologies all at one time, and your brain is not able to catch up rapidly enough. And people think that they can become more efficient by multitasking, but in fact that's one of the great myths of our time, is that multitasking is actually making your brain, it's frying your brain, it's frazzling your brain. Your brain has limited computer power, but you're overextending your brain. And let me just show you what it looks like when you're multitasking. They've done these studies. This is what your brain looks like when you're multitasking. So here we have 2 actions. These are 2 goals, and and they've actually done this. They've had people, while they're multitasking, using, let's say, text messages or surfing the internet, they put these devices on their brain, and then they scan their brain to see where the activity is. So here, this person was doing 2 different activities. When you're doing 2 different activities, the intention is usually formed in one part of the brain. So for example, here this person has an intention to, let's say, text someone, and here this action is the intention to find a piece of information on the internet. So the intention takes place in one part of the brain, but then the actual performance of the action takes place in another part of the brain. So here action A, goal A is over here in this part of the brain. Action B, goal B is here in this part of the brain. But then also, if you're switching between the different tasks, you have 2 different parts of the brain that are associated with that. So here, when you're doing 2 different actions, you're actually activating 6 different parts of your brain. That's only 2 different actions. Now, if you were doing 4 different actions, you would be activating 24 different parts of your brain. Now, this action, what do you think it'll do to your brain? It's completely rewiring the way that we're supposed to be functioning as human beings. In that, on the one hand, it has created in us an inability to be patient. So if we don't receive something immediately, we become extremely impatient, right? If, let's say, the internet is down for a few seconds, or the internet is a little slower, today compared to yesterday, what is our typical reaction? Is our typical reaction, oh, let me be patient, let me remember the advice of Luqman, وَاصْبِرْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. No, of course not. We say, oh, this internet, stupid Comcast, Cropcast, whatever. We start cursing, right? So that's the typical reaction. It's led us to become more impatient. And this impatience is really a result of our brains being split. Our brains don't know in which direction to go. They don't know if we should be text messaging. They don't know if we should be sending internet messages. They don't know if we should be listening to the iPod. They don't know if we should be listening to the TV. So on one hand, it's made us extremely unable to be patient. On the other hand, it's made us unable to focus. So many of us, we have a difficulty in terms of focusing. I've seen this during some of the lectures here. Some of the people listening to me, and then at the same time text messaging, and then, doing other things. Just for 30 minutes, we're unable to focus. We need to send text messages to who knows where because we're unable to focus for 30 or 40 minutes during the month of Ramadan. So that's the second thing. So on the one level, these technologies are rewiring our brains and are making us more impatient and are making us less able to focus. On the second level, they're also having a tremendous social effect. on the level of our interactions with each other, and on the level of our interactions with our families. You go into any typical home today, in the evening, what do you find? You find Mama is on the computer checking her email, Baba is on his laptop checking his email, and the children are on their internet laptops checking their email. And so the living room has become completely silent. Before, when people used to come home, they used to maybe interact with each other and talk with each other. Now maybe the mother is in one room, the father is in another room, the children are in their bedroom, everyone is sort of in their own little bubble, and there's no interaction between each other. And then on another level, the community interaction. So alhamdulillah, we have a good attendance here today. But oftentimes, there's a lack of attendance because maybe some of these programs are broadcast over the internet. So people tend to become more lazy in terms of saying, you know what, let me not go to the jama. I'll just stay at home. I haven't really taken a shower today. I don't really feel like dressing up. I'll just stay at home and I can watch the lecture, and at the same time I can surf the web and I can do other things. But when you don't come to the masjid, it's ruining your ability to interact with other people. So I come to the masjid, I see someone who happens to be in one of my classes, and I tell them, hey, what was your day like today? Or hey, how was Ramadan today? We're missing this social interaction thanks to this communication technology. So it's extremely beneficial in the sense that it brings us closer, in the sense that people in Indonesia and people in Dearborn, Michigan are all watching the same media. But on the other hand, it's splitting us apart as communities and as families, because mothers and fathers and children are not talking to each other. And in fact, greater problems is that it's also enabled the fahsha to come closer to the door. So back in olden days, 10 years ago, if someone wanted to get pornography, or if someone wanted to get some bad things, they would have to actually go out. Now it's all immediately available with the touch of a finger. And worse than that, we have many inappropriate relationships being formed between the youth, between young girls and young boys, via text messaging and via Skyping and what have you. So the parents think that they're actually doing something good by keeping their daughters at home, but your daughter and your son is formulating some sort of inappropriate relationship, all from the comfort of their own home. And many of the parents are completely clueless because they don't even know how to use the technology. And if they do know how to use the technology, they don't know about the tricks of the technology. Like when you're looking at inappropriate websites, many people, they clear their search history. Parents don't know about this. Or for example, you download some pictures, or you download some inappropriate correspondences, and you rename it as some type of other file, and you hide it somewhere, and then your mother or father asks you, what is this? And then you tell them something else, but they're clueless because they don't know about the technology. So on the second level, the technology has really created some sort of a social deficiency in terms of our interactions. And probably the most important effect of technology is that in a sense it has taken us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the technology, while it is beneficial and while it is helpful, at the same time, it makes us feel more powerful than we truly are. And I think the best example of this is Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha has a beautiful description of the animal, the peacock. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, and I'll just skip over this for the sake of time. Imam Ali alayhi salam says the peacock, when he looks at his feathers, he feels very prideful and filled with arrogance, right? Because he has very beautiful feathers. But then when the peacock looks down at its legs, it starts to cry because it has puny little legs that don't enable it to run. So the feathers make it feel strong and very arrogant and filled with pride. But then when it looks at its legs are tiny and weak. They're not really worthy of this type of plumage. And so the peacock starts to cry. In a sense, this is what technology does to us as well. It makes us feel stronger than we are. So when we're able to connect and interact with each other, when we're able to go long distances over very short periods of time, we feel like the peacock with its magnificent feathers. But in reality, we're still weak. We are weak organisms. We can die in any second. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us on a daily basis. That's the point of Ramadan, to remind us of our weakness. Ramadan is reminding us that yes, we may have all of these fancy tools and we may have all of these fancy objects, but in the end, we're dependent on something which we have no control over, which is our hunger, our thirst, water. Go one day without water and you feel very tired. You feel very weak, like the legs of a peacock. But throughout the year we feel like this. Ramadan is reminding us of this. So the two major effects of technology that we can talk about is that on one hand it rewires our brains. On the second level, it has the social effect on the family. And on the third level, it can take us away from Allah. And this was actually made very clear. There was an atheist, a man named Jonathan Miller. He has a fantastic movie called Atheism, A History of Disbelief. And in this movie, he talks with various atheist people. And he tells them, what do you think the future of atheism is? And all of these experts, all of these historical and religious and social science experts, say that they think that atheism is going to increase over the coming years. The reason being that technology has become more readily available. So in ancient times, people used to turn to Allah, or they used to turn to God during times of desperation. But in modern times, people don't feel desperate, because in ancient times they used to feel hot, or they used to lack water. So they used to create gods like the rain god, or they used to create like the god of cooling, and they used to pray to those gods. But in modern times, if you feel hot or if you're out of water, you just turn on your faucet or you turn on the AC, and it gives you a false sense of power. This false sense of power is what leads to disbelief. That's why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون, that's what this is talking about. This technology has created this type of bubble, this type of technological bubble, where we really don't understand our own weaknesses and our own limitations compared to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat. So actually we seem to be running out of time. I know we don't want to hold back people for the Quran program. So I had a bit more to go over, but inshallah we'll cover the rest of this lecture tomorrow, and we'll go over some other things. The word that I wanted to use today, because we're running out of time, and I know many of you have maybe jobs and things to do tomorrow, but the takeaway message from today's talk is that we always have to be cognizant of any new technology that we're using, whether it takes us closer to Allah or whether it takes us away from Allah, and particularly how it affects our relationships with each other. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us towards the right path. And each night at the end of the talk, we mention one of the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For as the hadith reminds us, "Man arafa nafsa arafa rabbah." If you know yourself, you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the only way to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through the divine attributes and the divine names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So each night we're going over some of the divine names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we can gain a better understanding of Allah, and at the same time gaining a better understanding of ourselves as individuals. The word for tonight is Al-Rashid. That's the divine name for tonight, Al-Rashid. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in Surah Al-Baqarah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan ar-Rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي. And when my servant asks about me, فَإِنِّي قَرِيب. So I am close to them. أَجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الْدَاعِ إِذْ دَعَانِي. I respond to the dua of the da'i if they make dua. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلِيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So let them make dua for themselves, and let them believe, so that I may guide them towards the right path. Here the word Rashid, the word Al-Rashid comes from Rushd, which means teacher, or the divine guide, the righteous teacher. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the righteous teacher in that He has taught us happiness, prosperity, He has taught us discipline, He has taught us how to save ourselves based on the example of the Quran and the example of the Ahlul Bayt. But although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-powerful and is a righteous teacher, He cannot enforce what He teaches. He leaves it for us to make the decision. He leaves it to human will to make the decision whether to choose the right path, whether to choose the wrong path. He chooses to let us gain our rewards by our own decisions, and to gain our punishment through our own decisions. So why is this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala important? Ar-Rashid. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us in our creation how to choose the right path, and and we choose the wrong path oftentimes. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who choose the right path. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. صلوات.